Hello and welcome to FPL Xtra. I'm with my boys Zay and Gaz, and we got a special guest today. We've got Meera in the house. Meera, is it FPL Mez? Is that your handle on X?
Yeah,
Twitter?
I'm FPL Mez 8 on X.
And this has been something that we've been talking about for about, I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, on a random one. And yeah, it's like we love what you do, Meera, and the fact that you are totally legit and you swear and you're like us, and it's like you're doing your shit as well. and then we end up chatting on a random, I think it's around the whole Navratri or our Hindu festival. And then suddenly got chatting, and it's like, holy shit, we kind of know similar people in similar areas and stuff. Then that was it. And it's like Meera's on now. It's like we've made it happen. Time zones have been a fucking like tough one, isn't it? Because Meera, what time is it right now for you?
It's just gone 7:30.
Holy crap.
AM.
Zay?
Yeah.
1:35 a.m.
Zay, whereabouts are you, bro?
1:35 a.m.
Fucking hell. So yeah, so we're just gonna chat about all sorts of shit. And Meera's got a team up. So this week's been an absolute fucking shit game week. But Meera's actually got higher than
this week, hasn't it? It's probably been the worst game week I've ever experienced. I've been playing about 13 years.
Only been shit for us three boys. She has got some.
Meera, you got 39 points. You got
I got points.
Shit.
You know what?
You've got real points.
It's mad. It's mad. Firstly, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I think when I started watching you guys, like with your videos and everything, I was like, these are my people. And mostly because you guys are so authentic and genuine, and you come across really well as well. So yeah, it's a pleasure to join you guys and just chat shit and chat FPL and chat about life. Yeah,
because we love you as well, man. Because before we started this video, we were just talking, catching up, and Meera has like just on a level, just like so easy, and it's like the F&C bombs. It's a bit early in the video right now, but we will drop a couple of fucks and things later on. But the fact that you're just so genuine as well, and it's like so easy to talk to, and I knew like with the boys, you'd just be brilliant to get you guys, all of us together. So thanks for coming.
No, thank you. And you're right, like with the time zones, I really do appreciate it. It's insane. And we're trying to like tackle 3 continents, right? And that's always a challenge. So yeah, thank you guys. But my game week, oh my gosh. So I thought I was having a shit game week. And the thing is, like, you would have heard in any of my videos that the matches over here in Australia, they're on at stupid o'clock. They're on, with the time difference now, like the time changing over here and then over there for you guys in the UK. The time difference means that the matches are on 2 a.m., like the afternoon. Wow. Yeah, so a 3 p.m. match over there is 2 a.m. over here. And so now the early kickoffs. Sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes I do. And if it's Liverpool playing, then yeah, I might do. And if I haven't got anything on the next day, there's been occasions when I've had a night out, like catching up with the girls or friends or whatever, and I'm back at about 2 a.m. or something, and I'm like, I could go to bed or I could watch some football.
Love it, yeah, bloody love it, man.
So it just depends. It just depends if the matches are on. Obviously, with the time difference, like when it changes again, it's a little bit easier because there's a 9:30 match on a Saturday evening. And so that's a lot better because then the next match starts by sort of midnight or just before midnight. But right now, all of that is just shifted a couple of hours. And so, yeah, so we're talking about now, 11 p.m. matches and then, 2 a.m. matches, that kind of thing. And then it goes right up until so this morning when you have the UCL matches on midweek, that's not so bad for us because those are on at about 4:45 in the morning with the earlier one or 7 a.m. And so you can, 8 p.m. matches over there are a dream because 7 a.m. over here, we can watch it. We can watch it in Australia without too much.
That's a pretty good start to the day if you can watch a bit of football,
Yeah, exactly.
To the football.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. I'd just be having breakfast or whatever, just got the football on and planning out my day, that kind of thing, and just watching some games. It's actually quite nice. So I don't mind this kind of time zone at the moment. It also means it makes it easier for me to catch up with my family who's in the UK as well. And as I mentioned to you, Neil, I grew up in Croydon. And so, yeah, it's nice to connect with the family and stuff. Like 7 a.m. for me is 8 p.m. over there. It's a manageable time to have an evening catch up for them rather than an early morning one for them and evening one for me. So I've been here almost 10 years. And so you just get used to, watching matches and catching up with family and just connecting and, getting messages at like stupid o'clock again in the morning. So I'm waking up to like, what has the UK been up to today kind of thing and what's going on with FPL. And so on the weekend, I'm waking up on Sunday morning thinking, fuck, I've got loads of points. That's brilliant. Because I've been having a really shit season and really shit sort of, game weeks as well. So I saw Trippier got points, Bowen got points, Matoma and Gordon got points. And I was like, what is going on? This is great. I've got points. And then
I saw your tweet with
obviously
the midfield. I saw the 3. I was like, fuck, she's smashing it, man. Got shit.
Yeah. And then the panic set in because Haaland had blanked. And so I was like, shit, man, I should have captained Salah. And so then I woke up on Monday morning, and obviously these are after the Sunday matches, right? Waking up on Monday morning and I'm like, where the fuck are my points? I ended on like Sunday. I went to bed on Sunday night with 34 points and I got 5 points by Monday with like 4 players playing. And that's like with Cash, Watkins, Cash, Watkins, Salah and Tsimikas. And obviously Tsimikas didn't start. Cash got 0 points, got like, chucked off before 60 minutes as well. Watkins just fuck all again. Salah, I was just like, well, thank fuck Salah blanked. There you go. The F-bombs have totally started there.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Like, I'm so glad that they banked, but also, what was the score and who scored? And so by the time I sort of looked at the scoreline, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm just putting my phone down again. I'm like, I need to get some more sleep. This is, they're either still playing and I'm dreaming, or this is for real and it's 1-1 as a final scoreline. I was like, no way, just no way.
That's madness, isn't it? I mean, the fact that we all went Haaland pretty much, and I'm not gonna lie, I was shitting it because I'm thinking Salah against Luton, he's gonna just destroy it.
Yeah.
And we were at fireworks, and it was like to see Chong scored, and I was like, fucking hell, like what is going on here? It's
happening.
Great goal. And it's United old boy, wasn't he?
The Spurs and Chelsea game last night.
Yeah.
Obviously, like people was going into that with like 2 or 3 assets.
Yes.
He was on like 20 points, and then when they finished, he was on 19 points or something like that.
Yeah.
So many mad things had happened.
And I had nobody. I didn't have anyone for that match. And so
I think you did well to have nobody.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute emotional roller coaster. Like the way I sort of, I rolled my transfer. So going into Saturday, I was like, everything's good in the world. There's nothing I can do and everything will be fine. I love that sort of emotional roller coaster of, when you're sort of setting up for your game week and you're kind of heading towards the deadline, you're sort of like, my team's looking good. I'm feeling good. Everything is good, right? Yeah. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, well, in my case anyway, I'm like, fuck, okay, well, it's still not that bad. I've got points. It's okay. Monday obviously went through that emotional roller coaster as well. Mm-hmm. And then yesterday, so Tuesday, I'm waking up and the match is on. So I'm watching the match, because it was on, early morning. And I'm just like, everyone's got Son Maddison. And there may be a few people that have got Chelsea, but I'm not too worried about that because like the EO is going to be super low. But everyone's got Son and Maddison. And so around me, there's like 50% owned Son and Maddison pretty much.
Scary as fuck, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, sitting at 2 mil sort of thing. And so I'm like, fuck, how am I going to get through this match without, getting a red arrow, like what's going to happen basically. And then I just couldn't believe what I was watching. That entire match, I was just like, holy shit, where is my popcorn?
Yeah. Do you know what's insane,
so much
right?
happened.
With Romero and Udogie getting sent off, they still get minus. So every time Spurs concede, they still will be affected. So by the time it ended, it was like -4 a piece, which is good for us a lot because it helps our rank. But the fact that Maddison, we actually talked about Maddison. I was like, jinxed it to the boys. I was like, I hope he gets fucked up or something happens and he flops.
Yeah,
and he did.
I hate you for that, bro.
Gaz message after because you fucked him up. And then I was thinking, Son's surely going to do something. nothing. So it's like most bizarre game week. Like
I nearly deleted your number, Neil. I was pretty mad with you.
you're sending me kisses, babes.
to be fair though, I also had Palmer because obviously me and Neil had spoke about Palmer, and obviously he got the penalty and stuff like that. So I kind of let him off for that reason.
Man, what was that? Goal, assist, and 2 bonus. But you know, he actually had the assist for Caicedo's goal as well. The one that got chalked off.
Yeah, it got chalked off. Yeah.
If that had gone in, that would have been 2 assists and a goal, and 2, maybe even got 3 bonus, depending on even if, well, mind you, if Jackson got a hat trick, but still.
There were so many goals. Insane. There were so many like goals that weren't given as well, right? Like so many offsides, and you know, I'd done a stream with Ellie, who is a massive, you know, Chelsea supporter, and she does a lot of like Chelsea broadcasting and stuff like that as well. And you know, I was chatting to her about like, you know, what do you reckon going into this game? What is it going to be? And you know, we talked about potential sort of curveballs, and I got a couple of mates who are massive, you know, Spurs supporters as well, and they were saying, yeah, this could be like a banana skin game where it could be the game where Spurs just bottle it basically, or something will happen, and Chelsea's usually their fixture for that as well. And I was like, oh, interesting. And it was literally turning out that way. It was just bizarre, like just all the like chain of events that were going on. You just couldn't make it up. And the thing is, like, I'm not a Spurs supporter, but I'm a supporter of Ange, you know, and Ange he's an Aussie.
Quality,
love him. Yeah. And we love him over here. Like, you know, no matter what, like whichever club he's managing, you know, there's a big sort of supporter base over here for Big Ange, and, you know, his style of play, it's so attacking, so good. And so, yeah, you know, there's obviously a soft spot there. So there was a part of me that was like, I don't want you guys to lose because you're on such a good streak. But at the same time, I was like, well,
don't want him to win either, do you?
Humbling. Yeah.
You're not going to hurt my my FPL rank.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, yeah.
But Angelo, when he did the interview afterwards and that, he spoke so like.
Oh, I still haven't seen that, but I heard it was really good. Yeah, it's just like very humble.
He didn't slate the players or nothing like that. He did quite well, to be fair. I was interested to watch it at the end just to see how he reacted. He could have gone both
it was
ways.
Such a contrast.
Yeah,
it was such a contrast to what.
He did great.
Yeah, because like Mikel Arteta was, he was brutal. I mean, and rightfully so. Like I'm in 2 camps about this, where, you know, you've got to speak out. You got to sort of, you know, like you can't just let these things ride sometimes. And that's the thing, you know, not saying something is also a choice. So you have a choice of doing something about a situation. And in this scenario, he spoke up, which is, you know, fantastic. But then not speaking up as well is also a choice, and so you're kind of like agreeing with whatever's happening.
Just letting it slide, then, aren't you? You're allowing it to keep going on. But
Ange was pure class with how he talked about that match, and you know, accepting what had happened, and you know, sort of talked around it in a very diplomatic way and in a very authentic way as well. So yeah, well, you know, really good.
What do you reckon on Spurs? They got Wolves on the next game. Do you reckon they bounce back?
It depends on a few of them injuries as well, because obviously you've got a few defenders out now, and then obviously Maddison took a knock, so
Van de Ven out as well.
Also Richarlison is out too.
Richarlison,
anyways.
Richarlison's got his coccyx tailbone is fucked, so he's going to be. Is it surgery? I think I said
he was doing jack shit anyway, so no worries with that. Probably Son's going to play up front.
Shit.
I think Maddison's key though. I think if Maddison doesn't play, I think they might struggle a bit, because Wolves are quite decent in defence. Yeah. Is it away from home as well for Spurs?
I think it's away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Blackpool could be rubbing his hands now, won't we?
Do you know what?
He'll be very happy them Spurs players are out.
Would you get a shot of Son?
I wouldn't know, personally, no.
Oh, guess what, lads?
Who scored?
Foden.
Foden. Oh my God. I had Foden. I've had Foden in my team and just nothing. Like I think I got like a 7-pointer from him. I think the time when he scored a goal off of a Walker assist, which I had in my team at the time as well. And, you know, a couple of the nicer moments of my season so far. But otherwise, like just not done much at all. I had to get rid of him. And now he's bagging points now.
Yeah. Prick. So with yours, Meera, you got 2 transfers going in, right? to next week?
Yeah, that's right. I can show you where I am at.
What's the plan? Mac to the future. I love the name. Did you have McAllister in your team at the start?
No, I didn't.
Or was it just to play on the film?
So you know,
Mac and me, or Back to the Future?
I have been. So this is my third season, and so far, I've been bringing in the player that I've mentioned in my team name, and it's been mostly Liverpool players. So I started off my FPL sort of journey with Show Me the Mane as my name, and I brought in Sadio Mane eventually, and then last season it was Alice in Wonderland and brought in Allison as well eventually at least 1 point. But I'd like to bring in McAllister, but he's just playing in a bizarre number 6 kind of a role, and I'm not sort of feeling it at the moment, like bringing him in. But I'm hoping that will change, and I will want to bring him in. Obviously, when I picked the name, it was like off the back of a great season that he had with Brighton. So yeah, let's see. I might bring McAllister in, but yeah, I went with Back to the Future this time round. Also a massive Back to the Future fan as well. So yeah, that's what happens when you're an 80s kid.
Or Back to the Future, me.
Yeah.
Quality films. Meera, can I just ask as well? Obviously, your Liverpool players. What's your thoughts on what's he got? Is it Szoboszlai? Is he?
Szoboszlai. I love him. As an other FPL reasons asset, too. Yeah. I don't mind him as an FPL asset. Just because he's like, have you seen the zones that he's kind of covering on the field? Like the areas that he's covering is just, it's huge. I mean, he's taken off so much from Trent as well, and it's so bizarre because I wanted to start the season with Trent, and immediately I couldn't go there just because the price point and all of that. But then we saw very quickly as well that set pieces and the coverage that Trent used to have is now being covered by Szoboszlai. There's a bit of McAllister in there as well, and that's impacted Salah a little bit as well. And so you could see that he's playing a really a broader role than what I expected him to play. I mean, I hadn't really sort of come across him previously either, but the first couple of games, you just wouldn't think that he had just joined that side. And so I feel like our midfield is definitely a lot stronger than what it was. Last season was terrible for us. So this time round, as an FPL asset, I reckon he's a good shout. Like he would just kind of sit there and sort of, get points. Like I think he got a couple of assists in the last couple of games as well. Could have got a lot more. And he's just getting in there and he's running into the box as well. So
he's got that bullet as well. Who was that against? I can't remember what game that was. Do you remember he smashed it from quite far out?
Yeah. I can't even remember.
But yeah, he
feels all hazy. But because our midfield is so stacked, I just don't know when you would bring him in. And that's the problem. If you look at, I'm playing 5. I'm playing 3-5-2 at the moment. I've got a decent midfield, and so when I think about who I would take out, I think he's priced at 7 point something, or 7ish, maybe a bit higher.
7 mil, it might be 1 maybe or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I think Diaz is higher.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Bowen territory with that sort of price point, and so I think about it and kind of go, do I want Bowen? Do I want Szoboszlai? I wouldn't mind bringing in Szoboszlai, but then I'd probably gear towards bringing in Diaz instead. And so, at the moment I'm, sitting on 2 Liverpool assets, but Szoboszlai, love him. Yeah. I think my next Liverpool shirt is probably going to have, Szoboszlai on there. I mean, I love the number 8, I think mostly from Stevie Gerrard's days, and which is why I'm FPL Mez 8 on Twitter. Like when I joined Twitter for FPL Twitter anyway. I was going to ask
actually, did that 8 mean anything? I wasn't sure when you said at the start. Is that why?
No, that's basically it, and it was just a bit of play on numbers, right? So I've been on Twitter for a really long time, but I've got a different account, and on there I'm Meera 404, and mostly because I was at the time as a web designer and developer, and back in the early days of my career, I was designing 404 pages, like not found pages basically. Yeah. And so I was like, and Twitter had just come out, I'm talking about 2007, 2006. And so I decided to have a handle that said Meera 404. And so that's basically how it started. And then I was like, doing, I couldn't find FPL Mez like on its own. Like that's what I would have gone for. And so I just chucked an 8 on the end, just to kind of play on the numbers basically. And then I was thinking about Stevie Gerrard as well. And so seeing Szoboszlai take that number 8 shirt, I'm just like, yeah, you deserve it, mate. Like he's just playing really well. I'm probably going to get to. Yeah. So I think we can expect more.
We did the quiz, didn't we, lads? And then I think he played the most minutes.
Most minutes out of midfield, yeah. He's played like pretty much every game, which is just nuts.
Yeah.
So that was like apart from FPL, we wanted to know about your experience so far in FPL, obviously, and how the community has been so far. Just sum it up for the viewers.
Yeah, sure. Look, I as I mentioned, this is my 3rd season. I mean, I'll show you my game history.
Let's have a look.
Two seasons. 2 seasons, and
Not
so
bad.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been all right. Like my first season, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. I was playing, I was taking hits. I played my triple captaincy in game week 2. Didn't know about double game weeks. Didn't know about
Done all right though. Still, that's a good rank. Not a bad rank at all.
Decent,
there was a lot.
Better than mine.
There was
brilliant.
a lot I didn't know. And so I was playing like a maverick, just going wild with whatever and learning along the way as well. And it took me a while to join FPL Twitter as well. So I didn't know about the FPL community on Twitter, until like my brother-in-law mentioned it to me and said, oh yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more and you want to kind of, learn from other people, then, join FPL Twitter. It's pretty good. There's a lot of chat going on there, and these are the hashtags, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. So I joined months after I'd started playing, and I learned a lot more obviously through that. I started watching a bit of content as well. Wasn't really into watching too much like YouTube content or listening to podcasts, that kind of thing around football. But I started doing that a little bit just to kind of get familiarized with it. And so my first season, I was really happy with it. I didn't really have a target, didn't really have a goal. I was just playing, like for fun, and it has been since then. So my sort of philosophy going into playing FPL has been very much it's a game within a game. And so, a lot of it's going to come down to decision-making process and, how you go about sort of deciding who to bring into your team and, how you look at data, how you look at fixtures, how you look at sort of, other contextual environmental things that might be going on. And obviously this was like, pandemic sort of time frame as well. So there was a lot of things happening, right? So I learned a lot in my first season. And then I guess I approached my second season from a slightly different sort of perspective entirely, because I've learned so much in my first season. And I was off to a better start in my second season. And yeah, I was really happy with, where I finished. Like for me, this was like, oh, is that all? I'm like 2,500, in the world. And I think someone had to
11 million plays last year, man.
I know, but the thing is, for someone like me who hasn't been playing for many years and hasn't been so embedded in the thinking and the playing, and it's not sort of taken over my life or anything like that. And I can see that it does for a lot of people as well, like in the community. And so for me, I'm playing quite casually, as well as sort of not entirely casually, like not like a casual manager as we know, like I would say an informed FPL manager. But I was playing like with my heart and, gut sort of vibes on making decisions. And I traveled a lot during that time as well. And so it took the thinking out of it, because I was like, I need to lock in 5 days early and I might not know who's going to start, and I'm going to be hiking in Machu Picchu. And so fuck it. What am I going to do about this situation? Nothing. Right. And I'm not going to know until, a few days later. And so, yeah, it was a really good season for me. And someone had to say to me that you do realize you've had a really good season. I'm like, yeah, is it though? And then, when you sort of contextualize it with everyone else, you're like, oh, okay, it was a good season. It's hard. And that's the thing. You don't know what good looks like until you've been dabbling in that space for a longer time, and you start recognizing that the benchmark is here, and then sometimes it's here, and then, it's where you want it to be as well. And so, yeah, like for me, it's been a really good, last couple of seasons. This season's not been that great for me, but the community's been phenomenal. Like the community's been amazing. And I think that's why I started my off the cuff, very, very unprepared chats and rambles, with Twitter Spaces, just because I love communicating with the community and the FPL community here in Australia is amazing. There's such nice bunch of people. I was fortunate enough to meet many of them through the socials and things like that over the last couple of years. Really good content creators over here as well. Just really friendly people and helpful and humble and just super kind. And so,
was there something on your chat? I think on your page, was it a Sydney Meets or something? Did you go to?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So after I was at the London Meets, so we started doing. I mean, there is sort of FPL Social over here, and so it's the FPL Addicts podcast guys who organise that, and they've done a couple of those, between Melbourne and Sydney. And those have been fantastic. So you have like quizzes and there's talks and there's some really good things going. We go and watch like a A-League match over here in Australia. And yeah, it's been fantastic, being part of those. And then I went to the meets in London while I was out there over, your summer. And, I got to meet Nima and Ray, like all these guys, that I'd been communicating with for the last couple of years on Twitter. And so it was so nice to meet many of them in person. And so when I got back to Sydney, I was like, actually, we could probably set up something like that over here. And I noticed that Nima had like a global sort of, meets chapters and all of that. And I, hit him up and said, hey, how do you feel about having a Sydney one? I think you've got a Melbourne one, and Matt Day looks after the Melbourne chapter for meets. And Nima was like, yeah, we'd love to sort of have you on board doing a Sydney meets. And there's so many FPL managers in Sydney. And so we had our first meetup, which was a watch along, watch a match. And that was on really late. It was on at 10:30 p.m. And so that's always going to be hard on a Saturday night trying to get everyone out. But yeah, we managed to do that. And we're going to squeeze in another one for like Christmas drinks, basically in the next month or so as well.
Damn.
Neil's still not come to visit me, Meera.
Mate, you know what? I've got family in Stockport where Gaz is, so we'll have to sort something out. Definitely. Me and Gaz have been saying it since last year, and we've got to get Zay over.
It's been nearly 2 years now, and I've still not seen him.
I know. You know what it is? We said it the other day on the way home. I was walking home, I phoned Gaz, and that's the day I saw David Raya. And I was saying to Gaz, like, we're supposed to meet up in the summer. It's like November now. And the whole year's gone. We've got to get Zay over as well.
Very soon, lads.
Zay! Come on, man.
Yep. So
get your ass over here.
The question.
So I have a question for Zay. Oh, go on.
No, go first. No.
Oh, okay. The question I was going to ask Zay was, how has it been going without Haaland? Because I'm seriously thinking about that.
Okay, so
that was my question, Meera, to you actually. Great minds.
So just to clear that, we were talking about the Champions League fantasy, and I was talking about getting out Haaland and that. So last week, what happened? I had Haaland, and I had Doku, and I so Pep did. He started Alvarez, and I think he started Doku. He benched Alvarez. Now this week I took out Haaland because Alvarez was fine. I brought him in, and he benched Alvarez. So that is something I was moaning about in the Champions League fantasy. I had a good rank, but it is going down now.
Yeah, well, you did in Bundesliga as well, aren't you, Zay?
Yeah, I do play Bundesliga, bro.
Jesus Christ. An update for you lot. Haaland has swapped shirts with Camera at half time. Looks like he's going to be subbed off maybe. So that's just come through on the timeline. So I'll keep you posted. I've got alerts coming through. But yeah. So it could be that he's done his bit and he's maybe been saved for Chelsea. So interesting. But Meera, what do you reckon? Would you get rid of Haaland in your team?
Yeah, look, I'm open to the idea. Like, so as I mentioned, I've only played a couple of seasons, and last season was the first time. Like, obviously, we've all had Haaland in our teams, and he basically became perma-captain last season. And I'm not trying to complicate the game for myself unnecessarily, but at the same time, I want to sort of play in a way where I'm not restricted by having one or two players, absolutely always in my team as well. And so I've seen, obviously, there's been a lot of FPL managers over the last couple of game weeks where they have wildcarded and they've wildcarded Haaland out. And I think those that wildcarded Haaland out in game week 8, good on you. And I'm not sure, Zay, if that's when you did yours as well. But it's been really good to see that it's worked out well in some play, like for some managers, because they've got then alternative players in their team that have made up those points as well. And I think that's the risk, right? So yes, you can have Haaland in the team, and then you're relying on that one player to sort of, you know, bang each game week, and then, you know, like capitalize on their points, or you're spreading the funds and you're diversifying, you know, a little bit, and then hoping that the other players on a regular basis also sort of do well, and then hopefully outscore Haaland as well. And I think the challenge is playing the EO game a little bit, and so I've been ignoring the EO to some extent as well. Like I don't have Son Maddison in my team, for example. But then look at my rank. I'm not doing that well either, like, you know, in grand scheme of things. So, you know, there's been lots of decisions that I've made along the way where for whatever reason they've not gone to plan. And, you know, I started the season with Salah, took out Salah, brought Salah back in. You know, I didn't have Son Maddison for some of the season as well. So there's been aspects where it probably could have gone differently. But now I'm looking at my team and I'm thinking, am I unnecessarily complicating it by just taking out Haaland and giving myself a lot of heartache and pain and probably more reasons to swear on my streams? Or am I...
Swear, Meera, get your swear words out. Don't fucking hold back.
Or am I just am I playing the right sort of tactics there as well from a... It's still not too late, because if we look at, you know, the fixtures that City have for the next like 3 or 4 game weeks, they're not necessarily easy, and they're not necessarily that hard either. So I mean, City are City, right? They're a great team, and we know Haaland can go wild at any point. Like he could go absolutely nuts, and then we're going to be like, oh fuck. But at the same time, he's been blanking as well. And so, you know, I think it's one of those, you're either you're a risk averse manager, or you're not a risk averse manager. And so I'm thinking, I don't know what my style of FPL management is at the moment. You know, I've been playing in two very different ways in my first season, second season. So I haven't got a huge history to learn from and try and test a bunch of things. So I'm almost like treating this season as a big experiment to sort of go, let me just try out a few different things along the way. I've only taken a couple of hits. I've only taken like 2 hits so far. And so within the realms of like what I've got in control, because obviously everything else is out of our control, like outcomes, we can't do anything about that, right? But based on, you know, calculated risks, I fancy going without Haaland for a couple of game weeks just to try it out and see what happens. And obviously it means 2 transfers back in, you know, because there's 2 ways you can approach it as well. You either spread the funds across the entire team eventually, like along the way, or you just spread the funds between 2 players. So you hold a bit of money in the bank.
It'd be easy to get back in otherwise, isn't it? Yeah, but if you've got that money spread across the whole team, you're kind of like screwed, man. It's like having to make
no wild card either, then you're struggling, aren't you?
Yeah,
exactly.
And they've got a blank coming up as well, so you could probably ditch him for the next maybe 4. But then after that, you got Luton and Palace in 16 and 17.
Does this fixture start turning in 16? Is it? Yeah.
So I got a question from you, Meera. Also, Gaz, I think it's your fan again. It's making that noise.
Always does, so there's nothing I can do.
Okay, it's fine now. It just started. Yeah, it's fine now. Okay.
Gaz's laptop likes noises, Meera.
No, it's fine now.
What sort of noises, Gaz?
It's just because I'm out in the snow in the middle of nowhere. That's what it is.
That's right.
As you can see from the background.
I love it. You've been hitting the slopes.
Oh yeah.
It's fine now, guys. It's no more there. So, Meera, I wanted to ask that if you do take out Haaland, what are the options that you're looking at? I mean, the most popular one is Darwin Núñez, but he'll still miss 200 chances before he scores one.
Oh my God, don't.
That was such a shit miss the other day. Fucking hell, what was he doing?
Life.
So what are the options that you're looking at?
Yeah, so look, at the moment, I'm thinking probably a Nketiah. So I quite fancy that fixture just because, Arsenal has got Burnley, and it just seems like a really good fixture to bring in an Nketiah while, Jesus is still out at the moment, although he's been selected by the Brazil side. So I'm not sure, it might be that his injury is being downplayed a little bit and he's probably going to be back in action fairly soon. So I'm a little bit tentative about that. But I was also tempted by Wilson as well. And so I know Newcastle have, they don't have the best fixtures like coming up, but they're not terrible either. Like, I don't think United at home, Newcastle at home to United even is a tough fixture, right?
I see you smile, guys.
I'm a United fan, Meera.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate.
I definitely think that Wilson probably will score a hat-trick against us without any shadow of a doubt.
Are you not seeing this?
Neil, stop it. Don't show me that, Neil, please.
Oh my God, stop.
Fuck me.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's what I thought. They reckon he was going to go off because he swapped shirts, but he's fucking banged another one in.
Oh man. Okay, so this is slightly putting me off. So this conversation could be null and void. Who knows? But
I think he's using all his goals now. You need to save some for the weekend by the looks of it.
I know, right? Like, well, that's exactly, and that's my point. Like, we just don't know what's gonna happen with Haaland, right? Like, in terms of the supply he's getting, right? Like, we saw on the weekend, during the match against Bournemouth, right? 6-1 and no Haaland return. That's insane, right? And so when you look at it like that, yeah. And so when I look at Newcastle fixtures, I'm sort of thinking, okay, look, Bournemouth is a good fixture. Chelsea, United, Everton, Spurs will be a little bit challenging, but there's still some really good fixtures after that as well. So Fulham, Luton, Forest as well. But I don't think I'd end up holding on to Wilson because, as we know, Wilson is injury prone. He's minutes risk as well. Gordon, played number 9 on the weekend after Wilson was off. Isak is still injured. So there's a lot going on there. And they've obviously got quite a few injuries in the back as well. So I'm not 100% sure about the Wilson pick, but I don't mind it in the short term. So it might be that I go Haaland, to Wilson, and maybe think about also bringing in Son. And so I was looking at the Chelsea Spurs match as a way of sort of deciding how badly do I want Son in my team. And if he had hauled, if he had got even, I don't know, a goal and an assist or something like that, then I probably would have been more inclined because he's 50% owned. And that's hurting me each week. Every time he's scoring a goal, it's hurting me. And so I'm like, I probably need to do something about this. But he didn't go off. And so, so those are those.
Son, though, last night, I watched the game as well. And Son had a goal disallowed. And he did look very lively. He looked like he could have scored a couple of easily.
Even Chelsea down to 9, he looked really good. Like, Spurs look really good down to, sorry, not Chelsea down to 9, Spurs down to 9, playing against an 11 Chelsea. I was just like, wow, okay, so that Chelsea fixture for Newcastle, it's not a tough one.
Meera, if you're going to bring him in, who would you sacrifice out of your midfield?
Well, that's the other issue. So I'd probably only make one transfer. So I probably wouldn't bring in Son for the Wolves fixture, although that seems like a really good fixture to bring in him for. But I think, Son could be a season keeper, for given just how Spurs are playing as a whole and how he's playing as an individual player as well. So as a player on his own, he's playing great. And then as a team, they're playing great. So, but I don't know what's going on with Spurs. So I'm slightly put off by the injuries that they have and obviously the red cards and all of that. So I'm tempted to just make one move. And that one move would probably be Haaland to Wilson, for example. Right. And then I would go into game week 13 with 2 free transfers because I've got two free transfers right now. Damn. So that gives me options after international break to make a decision about, was this a terrible mistake? Do I just bring Haaland straight back in, or was it sort of actually, no, I'm good to go for another game week and then just play it one game week at a time from a risk appetite point of view?
Is that you got 2 transfers, haven't you, I think?
Yeah, I have 2 free transfers.
What about players you got your eyes on? Other players, Meera? Is there anyone taking, you're taking a liking to? Anyone that you're thinking, God, I wish I had that player in my team?
Oh, I think, look, at the moment, probably Son, just mostly because he's just he just looks really good at the moment. But no, I'm kind of happy with the players that I've got. I haven't got like serious FOMO around. I mean, Alvarez looks good. I know he's not been returning, so that's the other option, right? Like, do I cover Haaland by bringing in Alvarez, which a lot of FPL managers have done where they've wildcarded over the last couple of game weeks. So I could start playing 3-4-3 basically is the formation that I would sort of switch over to if I took out Haaland, and so I'd upgrade Archer to an Alvarez and just bring in like a Darwin or a Wilson, and then I would have the front line of a Darwin. Let's say if it was Darwin, Watkins, and Alvarez, but that could easily be no Darwin with Wilson. But eventually we may want to jump off of Watkins as well, just because, I mean, the two easy fixtures that they've had, they've, like he's not done well. I mean, Luton and Forest, right?
You would have thought there would have been plum fixtures for him to score.
Exactly. So the two fixtures that we probably all had Watkins for, if you've got Watkins in your team, that's precisely where he's not done very well. So so I reckon, like, given their fixtures coming up, so they've got Fulham, Spurs, Bournemouth coming up. Fulham, obviously, we keep. Spurs will be a challenging one. Bournemouth might be okay as well, but again, we're expecting Watkins to get some returns there, and if he hasn't got them, I mean, we don't know. I mean, the Bournemouth match is away, Fulham is home, so fingers crossed, he gets something in that one. But then the fixtures do get slightly challenging, aside from the Sheffield one over there, and United again could be in between. So, I mean, you could hold on to Watkins for like as long as you want, or you jump off of Watkins and then bring him back in if needed, depending on how Watkins is going later on as well. So in between over here, but I'd be happy to jump off of Watkins by 14, and that's where Liverpool's fixtures sort of turn again. And so 14, you got Fulham, Sheffield, Palace, and so around
Darwin,
here,
there's Darwin and his fucking shooting boots
from a forward. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what puts me off at the moment.
I think going back to the Watkins thing as well, I feel like Watkins does well against better teams. I feel like when you don't expect him to score, he does really well.
Yeah,
like
West
that's
Ham, right.
Brighton, Chelsea and things. He does much better against them tougher teams, to be honest.
Yeah.
Would you reckon against Fulham at home, surely he's got to score. He's got to return now, right? 2 blanks, he's got to come good.
One, isn't he? Yeah, definitely due one.
Yep.
Right, we're going to do some questions. Gaz's
this part of the video, I'm going to do a few
random ones.
Questions, some random ones. I just had to do them off the cuff kind of thing. So if they're crap, then blame Neil.
It's Zane's fault. God damn it.
So the first question for all of you is: in the season 22-23, which was last season, who was the third highest scoring forward?
Third highest scoring forward.
I'm going to go Wilson.
I'd say Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Watkins as well, but maybe it wasn't.
So obviously last season you had Haaland and Kane, they were the 2 highest.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was the third highest?
Oh my gosh, who am I missing out? Maybe it was Wilson.
None of them have got it right so far, Meera.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Who else? Like, I'm trying to remember who I had. Did I go for anyone else? Was it sort of like a? Oh,
he was doing really well, this guy, obviously, and he scored 182 points.
Wow. Okay. Oh my god, I don't even know.
I thought it was Wilson because he did quite well.
I could give you a clue, but then you'd all get it.
Oh, fucking hell.
Go on, give us a clue.
Right, so basically, I'll give you a clue. He doesn't play football at the minute because he's been suspended.
Oh, Tony!
Tony!
Fucking hell. I forgot about Tony. Jesus
my god, Tony.
So hot and cold, though.
Oh my god.
How do we fucking forget about Tony? Bloody hell.
The second question, again, this is another random one. I'm just picking them out here. Obviously, this current season that we have now, who is Manchester City's highest scoring midfielder?
Alvarez. No, Alvarez is forward. Shit. Rodri?
I'm going to say
Rodri.
Bilva,
What did
Bernardo
you say,
Silva.
Rodri, Bernardo Silva. Anyone else, Meera?
Doku?
He might have got you some points previously.
Foden?
Oh, bloody hell, is
Foden.
it?
Stop.
Seriously?
Seriously?
Foden on 53 points. Doku's on
Oh
40.
my God.
What the fuck is Foden on 53 fucking points?
Well, I think he got a goal, didn't he? So,
Oh
Had
shit,
a
he is
couple
as
of
well.
good games, hasn't he? Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm going to have to do another one of those because I've got no other questions.
What's the score so far? I think it's 0 or 1.
Basically, Meera's winning 1-0.
Yeah.
God damn.
Shame on you two. So this is the final question. So I'm going to go with which defender has scored the most goals this season?
Cash?
Most goals.
Yeah, I think Matty Cash.
Anyone else?
Anderson, Palace.
Oh yeah.
I swear he's. I'm definitely.
So basically, it was a pretty shit question. That I apologise because there's four defenders that have scored exactly the same. One of them was Cash. He was right, Meera. Anderson was the other one.
Hey.
Any guesses on the other two?
Oh.
One's a City defender. One's a Spurs defender.
Ake?
Udogi is one.
Ake was one. Yeah.
Romero.
Ake was one. The other guys are Spurs.
Van de Ven.
Van de Ven.
No.
Udogi.
No. Oh.
Romero.
Oh,
I did say Romero just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know, my things fell out. I think we have a winner there in Meera.
Yeah.
She's got.
Yeah.
Shit.
Next time we'll have a better
I'm
quiz.
usually shit at these.
That was off the cuff. That was off the cuff. Just for your info, guys, Haaland and Walker subbed off at 61 minutes. So
saving him for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's one less.
It's making me nervous now. Making me nervous about.
You're gonna drop him, Meera, because he'll bang a hat trick against Chelsea away. And
yeah, look, I think after that Chelsea match, I'm definitely feeling a little bit like. I mean, Chelsea had a Spurs team that were down to 9, and yeah, they got some easy goals. I loved. Did you see that? There was a tweet about, I think it was Rooney and his kid, where they're encouraging his kid to like kick the ball into the net.
Yeah.
And there was a quote that said, "Oh, this is like Jackson scoring."
Oh,
that's yeah. Oh shit.
Oh, it was so funny, but it's so true. But I mean, I wasn't sort of impressed so much with Chelsea, and so I am slightly nervous about that after watching that. But also, if Haaland's not injured, and clearly he isn't, so yeah, I'm sort of on the fence now a little bit more than what I was before.
It could all change on Friday anyway. There could be another 5 injuries that we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
Just never know.
That's it.
Last week.
Yep.
Yeah. Or I might just go wild and just do it like for one game week and see what happens. But maybe Chelsea might not be the best game week to do it. I don't know. It's something I'm thinking about still. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
So I guess that's it for this session, boys and girls, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic,
So
mate. Meera, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so
Meera,
much.
you legend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
No, all good.
Do the outro, bro.
Thank you for watching. Oh man, no joking. No, it's been great. It's been great as always. And it's nice that you're able to just speak freely. And again, it's been easy chatting to you. And likewise with us boys, we can talk for all day long, and we're quite limited with time, like depending on the week. Of course I fucking can. That's my job, god damn it. And thanks for coming, Meera. I really appreciate it. And definitely you got to jump on more often, come in and join us, let us know when it's good. Swearing rant.
We could join you, Meera, one time.
Yeah,
I would love that. And yeah, thank you so much, because I feel like the content that you guys are doing, the content that I'm doing, it's very much unprepared and just yeah, I love it. I love it. It's just so authentic, and it comes across, like I say, really well. And more of that, please. And yeah, I would love to have you guys on and just have
That'd be
a
great.
good
Yeah.
chin wag about all the things.
Yep.
I think that's the best way. Sometimes if you script it too much, it comes across that way, and it's like it's not as authentic. And I think what we were trying to do is just like imagine you with your mates in a pub and just chatting shit
That's
about
right.
FPL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on.
Yep. Thank you for coming in. Thank you guys for watching. Please do subscribe to our channel. Please do subscribe to Meera's channel. And that's it for this one.